Many things you see online are not what they appear to be. Take the case of social media influencers, people who are paid to promote brands and products. Well, some influencers you find in social media feeds are not real people. It's actually a growing trend. Some of these computer-generated influencers have more than 1 million followers each. Tony DeCopel looks at the issues around these AI figures. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Starting to think you can't believe everything you see online, but recent studies predict the influence marketing space will be a $2 billion industry by 2020. The goal of these computer-generated influencers to get you to buy products or experiences. Now, critics are worried you could be deceived by a false image.
They say seeing is believing, but actually what you're seeing defies that logic. Little Michaela, modeling's latest it girl, is an optical illusion. She's an avatar designed by artists and built by computers. And so is Shudu, dubbed the world's first digital supermodel.
Shudu was inspired by a Barbie doll. She just became super popular.
London photographer and designer Cameron James Wilson is the human behind the avatar.
CGI and 3D models offer a way for us to explore or create things that we've never ever seen before. Like, how can we explore beauty in a world that's only limited by the physical things around us?
With close to 125,000 followers, Shudu is also a virtual influencer. Just last week, Shudu debuted her first fashion editorial with Women's Wear Daily. But Cameron says he or she were not paid like a human fashion model would be.
We are blurring the lines between fiction and reality.
Attorney David Polgar studies the ethics of technology and says the FTC needs to have guidelines for CGI influencers.
The impetus is on the legislative branch to say maybe we need better transparency. There's been a lot of discussion about technology moving at a much faster pace than the law has been able to catch up.
What do you think could go wrong with CGI models?
If it is a fictional character that a consumer doesn't know if it's real, then to a large extent, that is actually not a person, that's just an extended brand. So I think what we would have to worry about is, should there be transparency that would be needed about the interaction with that brand?
And Little Michaela is a fast-growing brand. The AI model/musician has over 1.2 million followers and is growing as an influencer, sporting and promoting designer clothes. Her creator, a robotics and AI company called Brood, has maintained an allure of anonymity.
With a few clicks, you sew it together virtually. It's a lot easier than real life. It's clicking instead of like cutting your hands.
Ryan Tang is the vice president of Clo, the company behind the 3D software used to digitize the clothes on these virtual models.
Everyone has their own take of what they think their reality should look like. 3D just kind of gives the extra step to increase your creativity for that reality.
While CGI Models is a first for their company, Tang says fashion has been blurring lines for years with digital garments.
There's a lot of 3D going on that no one knows about.
When a person goes online to shop for clothes, are the models real people and are the clothes real?
So the person's real, but the garment isn't. So most of these websites you go to, you see this guy who has the same goofy face and different poses, but he's wearing multiple garments. That kind of answers your question.
At what point does this cross over into lying?
I don't feel like it's dishonest. I think it still does the job of what it was supposed to do. You're not getting a fake garment when it comes. And it's become a part of the supply chain that every company actually needs. I think this is the year when you'll start noticing that more people are utilizing those assets.
So Shudu and Michaela are the beginning of something new?
I think so. And they're going to be the leaders by far. They're the first to ever do what they're doing.
They're not the last.
They're not the last for sure.
And Michaela has proven she's here to stay. In March, she posed for free in New York's fashion magazine V, wearing luxury brands like Versace, Fendi, and Chanel.
Michaela is just an interesting subject, and I think a really interesting conversation right now is again about the authenticity in this digital age. How much of what's out there, content-wise, is real?
Associate editor Devin Barrett sees a bright future for virtual models.
Brands ultimately want to be involved in an interesting story, in a story that gets traction. Otherwise, it's just product at the end of the day.
As for Shudu's creator, he says his digital model is just the start of a new wave of CGI influencers.
The influencers of today are changing. They're realizing that they need actual engaging content. There's so many different aspects of this that I think can engage and captivate people.
For now, CGI influencers don't pose a threat to human influencers, but there are concerns over unrealistic dimensions of these computer-generated models. Could fuel a debate about body image. You know, there's a guy model, and I take a look at him, and I think I couldn't fit into those clothes.
Well, we have an entire system that conveys importance on what is fake. Right? And people can buy fake Twitter followers. Many people just have fake Twitter followers. There's something called Twitter Audit where you can see how many fake. And so before marketers start putting money behind this, they should check to see. And Twitter should do a good job, too, about cleaning out these files.
That's a terrific
It
point.
can be found.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, some photos of real humans are photoshopped so much that they basically look like avatars anyway.
It's all virtual reality on social media.
Well, and even on more than social media in brand magazines.
Well, they're both very pretty, I'll say that. Yeah. They're gorgeous girls, as long as you know they're not real. Thank you, Tony.